World AIDS Day 2017, How to talk to your children about HIV/AIDS. When your children receive sex education from a trusted person, they have a lesser risk of contracting sexually transmitted diseases and early pregnancies. Children are very inquisitive by nature, and parents often find themselves at their wits' end, trying to answer their innocent questions about everything under the sun. Where do babies come from? Is a universal classic among children. But sometimes, they can also stump you with their queries about uncomfortable topics like AIDS and HIV. But far from worrying about answering your children's questions, be thankful that they are approaching you instead of turning to the internet for answers. Before they get the wrong information from dubious internet sources, you should act like a responsible parent and answer your children's queries about STIs like HIV/AIDS. HIV/AIDS is spreading rapidly, and it is your duty as a parent to keep your child safe from it. And the first step is to educate them about the disease as soon as possible. Dr. Iridetta, consultant neuropsychiatrist and therapist at Mind Wellness and Fortis Healthcare, says that it has become very to educate children and teenagers about sexually transmitted diseases because the scenario today is very different from what it was 20 years ago. Today, children are more exposed to sexually provocative content and pornography through internet and the media. And children, being curious, are bound to experiment on their own. To make matters worse, teen pregnancies are also on the rise, says Dr. Netta. It's time to talk to your child about good and bad touches. But before starting any conversation with your children about HIV/AIDS and confusing them, Dr. Rajan Bonsale, renowned sexologist and the founder of Heart to Heart Counseling, insists that you first talk to them about sex. Parents should start by explaining about the attraction between a man and a woman, which becomes more evident as they approach adolescence. Here's how you can talk to your teenager about sex. Dr. Nutt agrees, saying that sex education is the first step in educating children about the dangers of unprotected sex. It should also be made a part of the school curriculum. Children tend to feel uncomfortable when they are spoken to about sex in isolation. So it's better to address them in groups in schools. The idea is to speak on basic terms about sex and not get too graphic or detailed, she adds. Dr. Bonsale stresses on the importance of talking to kids in an age-appropriate language, using ideas and language they understand. Children should be made to understand about STIs and HIV/AIDS in the way they can understand. For instance, in school, they learn about various waterborne and airborne diseases. They should be told that some diseases can also spread through careless sexual act. Here are some myths about HIV/AIDS. Children should be told that reckless sexual act can have repercussions such as unwanted pregnancy or sexually transmitted diseases like HIV/AIDS. That's why the institution of marriage was created as a safe avenue for man and woman to explore their sexual needs, without the fear of sexually transmitted diseases, Dr. Bonsale says. Dr. Nutt emphasizes that one should be responsible while explaining about AIDS to children. They should be made to understand that while HIV/AIDS is a dangerous consequence of unprotected sex, HIV/AIDS patients are not bad people. They shouldn't be treated unfairly, she says. But this is the easy part. Dr. Nutt says that the real roadblock to educating children about sex and HIV/AIDS is the parents' attitude towards it. Often parents complain to teachers, saying that speaking to children about sex puts the idea of sex into their minds, she rues. Such regressive notions about sex are what lead children to seek answers themselves. Positive discussion with trusted adults will help children develop healthy attitudes towards sex. Research also shows that the young ones who understand the facts and risks of sex will refrain from early sexual experience, reducing any chances of risks.